the world's premier night out ladies entertainment. Don't miss these hard rock men with chiseled abs live on stage, 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. July 28th, Pippa Event Center. Buy tickets at playqcr.com or at the casino box office. Don't miss all the excitement. Thunder from Down Under.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you on a Friday. Yeah, you made it Friday. It's going to be a little warm. Be careful out there. Hyundai of Yuma, they are advertisers on the show out there on 32nd Street. Yeah, they advertise in here, but they're located on 32nd Street. Go over and take a look, do a test drive. Get behind the wheel of the car is how you make those decisions. Of course, looks attracted, and I think the engineers and Hyundai have done great jobs on that. But once you get inside, it's ergonomics. How's everything fit? The quality of the workmanship, quality of the car, the quality of the material. Fun to drive. I mean, once you start that engine and you have to move it around, visibility good. Is it enjoyable to drive? Is it safe? And there are a lot of safety features. Are they? And I don't know if everybody looks at all that, but those are the things you end up living with beyond just the looks of the car, which, again, I think, the engineers didn't overlook that. They understand that's what sells cars. When you go to Midnight Oasis, the classic cars, they say, this one's a collectible because it's safest. No, it's the looks matter. They just do, and that doesn't get ignored, believe me. Go over, take a test drive. Kia, of course, is also in the group of cars. Manufacturing-wise and ownership, same veteran-owned business. And Genesis, which is right on the same lot as the Hyundai dealership, as they split, actually. Two separate businesses on right there on the same lot. And then just tell them I sent you. The Senate did pass, by the way. The Senate passes the bipartisan gun control bill. It wasn't a surprise to anybody. I think the 15 Republicans that went along with it, that did end up signing, all came forward on the record beforehand, ahead of time, that they were going to do that. And it was spearheaded by Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat out of Connecticut, and John Cornyn out of Texas, a Republican, which first gun bill in many years, and have a Republican on it. And here's what he says, and this is John Cornyn. Says, I'm proud that after weeks of hard work, the Senate passed the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, a bill I negotiated with my colleagues. Our bill saved lives while placing no new restrictions on law-abiding gun owners. Let me take a phone call. You're on the air.
Mike, the trucker.
Good morning, sir.
See, I had a couple questions for you. Have you ever seen more going on in the news just today than even during the Trump era?
No.
A variety of very important issues.
It is, and I think it's because there's been so mmany dumpster fires started by Biden, and I say they're all going on, and they talk about it in the news, but amazingly, they don't hit the issues hard. It's just an acknowledgement that it's Trump's fault.
Yeah, the fires don't get put out.
No, there's no plans to put them out.
Over time, you just add more. What?
There's no plans to put them out. The Biden administration is not doing anything.
Okay, so can I reword it? Maybe the dumpster fires are not causing any change of policy or course that they've chosen to take. Can I say that?
Yeah. No, they created them for a reason. We can only guess what those are because I don't have any.
So we could add more dumpster fires, and the policies and what's going on won't change. Correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading. I called in about 4 months ago about these huge storage tanks for fuel that was going up. One was north of Fort Morgan, Colorado, and another one was in the Green River area. Two different projects. They were shut down about 60 days ago, both of them. It was not the locals that shut it down. I've been waiting for something on the news, and I haven't seen anything. I think that one of the dumpster fires we have is there's a lot going on out there that never hits the news.
Oh, that's absolutely true. Oh, well, it gets so brief, it's not really in the news.
Well, there's so many, and only so many minutes in the day. What do you report on? But I think the government does have a definite direction on how they want to go. I think they want to limit energy.
Yes.
When you limit energy, you're actually causing the economy to shrink.
True. Absolutely. Because we spend so much of it. If we start putting our capital into just that, taking bigger chunks of our budget in energy, then we have less money to spend on the other things that's promoting the economy.
So our economy shrinks. If you look at history, it'll what we're saying will pop up as correct.
Yeah.
I really think from what I'm seeing, when you have a tax base that Biden is trying to draw from, and your economy is shrinking, I don't see him doing less with less taxes. All I can say is I think we're looking at some humongous tax increases to cover the spending.
If they have their way, absolutely. They want everyone to pay their fair share. That's their marching orders, pay fair share, whatever that is. But as if what we're paying now is not fair.
Okay, so let's bounce off. Let's jump off of what you just said. If you look at the world GNP, it does about $9 trillion a year, somewhere around there.
I don't know.
Biden's right up around 7. So what he's really asking for is let's take the entire world GDP, and we still don't have enough to run our government. What part of that doesn't make sense?
You could never have enough to satisfy the politicians' desire to spend it. I think that's a truism. Yes.
Okay,
never.
So we have a government that's involving. Let's take the tanks that were nicked themselves in what was normally private business. Can you say they're doing that with Juul, that JUUL tobacco place? What do you think is the real drive for taking that off the market? Where I'm going is I think the tobacco industry is trying to put them out of business. I don't think it's Biden.
I was really surprised me. I really haven't read any very much on it or really picked that one over at all. It really is shocking because they really don't have potentially they don't have the same harmful effect physically that the cigarettes do even. I don't know why they were targeted. I haven't really studied it. I haven't looked at it.
I don't either. I have to, when they say, hey, we're trying to solve problems, I don't see that because I've never seen it in the political landscape today. I've never seen a dumpster fire big enough that, hey, let's turn direction here. I think there's more to what they're trying to do. It's not to fix the problem, is my point.
Oh, it's not. There's no question they're not. I mean, he can look in the camera all day and say, I'm doing all I can to bring gas prices down, and the whole world knows he's lying. He doesn't care about gas prices. He cares about image a little bit, for re-election and all. But he's doing nothing to bring gas prices down. And then this little 18.4 cents that he wants to, give a holiday on the federal tax is a joke. Represents about 3% of the total price of the gas. It's nothing. It's more than doubled since he's been in office, and he says, "Oh, we'll bring it down 3% temporarily at the expense of taking the money out of the highway funds." Yeah, great. Like our roads are in such great shape, we don't need that money.
Earlier in the day, Fox News announced that wind energy in the U.S., as far as supplying power of renewable energy, is only 3%.
I think it's higher than that now. I'd have to look it up.
That was on the Fox News this morning.
This
wind
morning?
energy is 3%.
That doesn't sound right, but okay.
Back to this Juul. How does anything get fixed by taking that off the market?
How does what?
Well, okay, so we know that wind energy isn't fixing our fuel problem.
Oh no, it's a supplement to the grid for sure,
Okay.
but not that it's single digits for sure.
Yeah. So taking Juul off the market doesn't solve anything.
No.
So what's the purpose? I still think it's like the tobacco industry is saying, "Hey, get it out of here."
Yeah, it could be. Well, see what I'm looking at right now, and I just brought it up. It says 9.2% on wind energy.
Okay, so Fox got it wrong this morning.
Yeah, or that what I'm reading is wrong, but I remembered it being 8 at one time. I thought, but it's been a while since I really looked at it. But it says it's about 6 billion kilowatts in 2000 to about 380 billion kilowatts in 2021. In 2021, wind turbines were the source of about 9.2% of total U.S. utility scale electricity generation.
Fox got it wrong just before 6
And
o'clock.
that's according,
energy.
and that's a government source. That's a government source.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it wasn't just an editorial. Yeah, so I thought it was. I thought it was like 8 is what I was going to guess. And solar was much lower. Solar was 4% maybe at the most. But but if you start talking, between the two of them, 12%, that's significant. But we can't increase it too rapidly because it just to redo the grids and everything else to get that done.
Right.
Well, it says wind and solar combined is about 13% of U.S. energy, and that's just what I just brought up real quickly. I haven't done a lot on that, but that sounds about right to me. 13% would be good, about right for total in the United States, and that's pretty good. I think that's grown rapidly, but not rapidly enough for some on the left that want to switch a fossil fuel off tomorrow. But you're right. On the cigarettes, that's strictly health. It certainly wasn't covering into the big dumpster fires. You're right. But I don't know how it even helps health.
I don't either. That's why I'm calling you.
Yeah, if they could have banned cigarettes, that would have helped health. Yeah, for sure.
If you notice when you watch TV or even go down to the cinema, that you know how they used to put no animals were harmed in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, now they put on there no cigarette products were used in the movie, and I'm thinking, well, why are we worried about this?
Yeah, they do that.
Considering all the dumpster fires out there.
I don't know. Just little niches to satisfy small groups or groups of people pushing those stuff. I'm okay with it. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything to put those notes out and stuff. That's fine. No animals were harmed, no cigarettes were used, no alcohol was consumed. You'll see some of those things. Like we thought they were drinking real beer in that movie, but no, they don't. I don't think they do.
All the things we do at home.
Just part of the culture,
we don't
man.
drink real beer at home. We drink the fake stuff. Yeah, right.
No, keep that stuff away from me. Yeah. Appreciate the call, Mike. Take care.
Yeah, get there.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye. We'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU.
Temperatures will run a little bit closer to average by the end of the weekend, and that's also when a little bit of monsoonal moisture may creep in, producing an occasional shower thunderstorm, but dry to start off this Friday with a clear sky. A sunny afternoon today as the high approaches 110 with a light breeze out of the southwest. The overnight low will eventually drop down to 83 under a clear sky. It will be a sunny Saturday tomorrow with the high climbing to 108. Then a slightly cooler Sunday after some initial sunshine. There will be a slight chance for an afternoon thunderstorm popping up as the high hits 104. I'm meteorologist Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel.
Arizona conservatives are lining up behind Karen Taylor Robson for governor. Why? Because Karen Taylor Robson is a lifelong Republican who served in the Reagan White House. Karen is an award-winning small business owner and has a 6-point plan to secure the border. Former Arizona Governor Jan Brewer stood up to Barack Obama. Now she's supporting Karen Taylor Robson. Jan Brewer.
As Arizona's governor, I fought to secure our border and took on Barack Obama. Carrie Lake, she donated to Obama and published a radical plan that even the liberal Arizona Republic called mass amnesty. That's why I'm supporting Karen Taylor Robson. She's a small businesswoman and a fighter like me. Karen has a tough 6-point plan to secure the border. She'll get the job done. Join me in voting Karen Taylor Robeson for governor.
Join conservatives across Arizona in supporting Karen Taylor Robeson for governor. Authorized by Karen Taylor Robeson.
Paid for by Karen for Arizona.
Inflation is truly wicked. It's like the government taking money directly from your bank account. This is Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe you can fight inflation with a gold IRA. To explain how gold IRAs work, my friends at Birch Gold have published a free info kit explaining everything. To get your copy, text the word safeguard to 989898. It's free and there's no obligation.
Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
You may be right. I may be
AM 560. KBLU. Russ Clark is with you. And started talking about this bipartisan gun control bill. And, of course, there were 15 Republicans in the Senate that passed that. It's got to go to the House yet, but 15 Republicans in the Senate. And John Cornyn is one of the, and he's a Republican that helped with the bill, spearheaded the bill. It says the bill will save lives while placing no new restrictions on law-abiding gun owners. Chuck Schumer says tonight the United States Senate is doing something many believe was impossible even a few weeks ago. We are passing the first significant gun safety bill in nearly 30 years. The gun safety bill we are passing tonight can be described with three adjectives: bipartisan, common sense, life-saving. And we'll get into some of the details of the bill and what it really is after this phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Russ.
Good morning.
Say, is Mel doing all right?
Mel's doing great. Mel has moved to Kansas.
Really?
He moved to Kansas, and his son has been requesting him to do that for years, to move, and he finally agreed to. And of course, I think he's living about a mile from his son and grandkids there, and there's help for him in case he needs something. He doesn't. He's in great health. He's fine, and his wife, and that's Madison, I think, and everything's good. In fact, I think he messes us a little bit. It was a hard decision for him. He loves Yuma, but it was a good thing for him personally. I think he finally figured out.
So anyway,
and it's Marcy, by the way, not Madison. It's Marcy. But go ahead.
Oh, okay.
All right,
oh, Madison is Edward.
That's a daughter. Exactly right.
Yeah, you're fact checker. Okay. Now, I don't know if you got an update about this vet home or not, if you got a hold of Tim Dunn or not.
I have not received an update for him for some reason, but yeah.
All right. Well, I finally got a phone call from him yesterday.
All right.
And the new vet home is supposed to open in September.
Okay.
All right. And they're going to start advertising it in the next month. And they're going to start off with 20 beds, and that's earmarked for people with memory loss, dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, you're breaking up. You're breaking up a little bit, but go ahead. I make it out, but go ahead.
Okay, great.
It's for memory. There, that's better. All right.
Okay. Shooting, it's going to be open for people with 70% of disability, I guess, 70% or more.
Oh.
And it's 80, they're going to have 80 beds. They're, like I say, they're accepting applications, and it's going to be free for the people that are eligible for it.
Good deal.
Anyway, I was glad to get a phone call and to actually have an update, and she didn't care for my rant, but nobody else does either. And what did you find out about signs?
You know what? I have not sent him the note yet, and I'll do that today.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Because it's kind of hard to see Andy signs. There's doors.
I have seen some Andy Gold signs out there, but You're right.
Well, so am I, but
Yeah.
but most of them are small compared to the ones that they're standing again.
Okay.
And I think that they need more signs out. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
Got it.
So, okay.
Thank
you
you,
have a good
buddy.
weekend.
You too. Bye-bye. That's Mike. Gosh, I had an interview with Andy a couple days ago, and I was going to send that to Phil Townsend along with a note to contact Mike. But, man, I guess I have a few things on my list to get done. Haven't done that yet. Haven't edited those interviews. The Senate bill, bipartisan gun bill, I just want to talk about some of the things that were in it. It passed the Senate. Of course, it's not law yet, but seems to be heading in that direction. A lot of it is going to be enhanced background checks for gun buyers under 21, penalties for some gun criminals, variety of health and mental health-related programs. There's a boyfriend loophole, which is a gap in federal law that means spousal domestic abusers can have gun rights taken away, but not unmarried ones. You know, all those sound pretty somewhat harmless on surface. Don't know for sure, but somewhat. The red flag laws are the ones that scare me. The bill would provide funding for states to create programs that could keep weapons away from people who are a danger to themselves or others, often called red flag laws. Now, there's nothing wrong with keeping guns away from people that are danger, mentally incompetent, histories of violence, criminal activity, felons, those kind of things. Of course, there's going to be people out there that shouldn't be driving cars or handling firearms, some of those things. But the red flag law, and it's a little different in each state, but basically a red flag law is going to allow any individual that knows somebody, it could be a relative, it could be someone we're associated with, a business, somebody you work with, a friend that you had a falling out with, where you can just call and claim that this person is incompetent, angry, threatening, in danger to himself and others, and they need to have their guns taken away. And depending on the state and the law, that's usually enough to just go in and take the guns away. And the people that are pro-red flag law say, well, don't worry about it, because you can always petition the court, get a lawyer, go to court, and get your guns back if it's not true, if you're competent and all that stuff. Well, that's all well fine and good, So you can have somebody angry at you, or somebody that is a political opponent or an ex-spouse or somebody to put a red flag law on you, and then you've got to pay money and wait for the court system. It's supposed to be the other way around in this country. There's supposed to be due process to take away something like that. Well, this goes around due process with the intent of it's safer if we don't have due process, that we can just run right through it. Not a fan of red flag laws. Biden said about the bill, the passage said that the 28 years of inaction, bipartisan members of Congress came together to heed the call of families across the country and pass legislation to address the scourge of gun violence. Again, I don't have any violent guns. My guns are for self-defense and peaceful guns, but gun violence in our communities. Families in Uvalde and Buffalo and too many tragic shootings before have demanded action, and tonight we acted. The bipartisan legislation will help protect Americans, kids in schools, and communities will be safer because of it. The House of Representatives should promptly vote on the bipartisan bill and send it to my desk. I don't know that this gun legislation would have affected any of the shootings that they said. I doubt it. I doubt it that it would have had any effect. It's a feel good thing, and I guess something legislators do. They feel they can fix everything, but the root of the problem is not evil guns; it's evil people, and that's partially in there. With the mental health checks, the mental health issues are partially in there. In fact, Senator Cornyn and his colleagues was mentioned in a McConnell statement. McConnell said the legislation that Senator Cornyn and our colleagues assembled protects the Second Amendment. There are no new bans, mandates, or waiting periods for law-abiding citizens of any age. The bill does contain our common sense solutions that are overwhelmingly popular with lawful gun owners, such as adding juvenile criminal records, mental health issues into the background check system. It also provides significant new funding for mental health in schools. McConnell does not embrace the red flag laws, but he voted for them, and he's embracing the bill that has them. Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn. Enhanced funding for school security and mental health treatment is a good thing, but it's being combined with giving the left foothold to limit the Second Amendment. I voted against the bill because Americans' constitutional right to keep and bear arms is not negotiable. Ted Cruz, it's common sense. If we want to keep our kids safe, do not harm law-abiding citizens. Instead, put criminals in jail. Have police officers on campus to protect our kids. Steve Scalise, Republican out of Louisiana, announced early Wednesday that he would formally, now he's in the House, he would formally whip his members against the bill. And he's the GOP whip, the minority whip. In an effort to slowly chip away at our law-abiding citizens' Second Amendment rights, this legislation takes a wrong approach in attempting to curb violent crimes. Nancy Pelosi going to push it all in favor. So that should make you worry right there. We'll be right back. AM 560, KBLU.
Look, the Second Amendment doesn't say you can't restrict the kinds of weapons people can own. You can't buy a bazooka. You can't have a flamethrower.
How would you deal with all the assault weapons that are already out there that people have?
What I would do is I would institute a national buyback program. And I would move in the direction of making sure that in fact, was what we tried to do, get them off the street.
But that's not confiscating people.
No, that's not walking into their homes, knocking on their doors, going through their gun cabinets, et cetera.
So people would be allowed to keep the weapons they already have?
Right now, there's no legal way that I'm aware of that you could deny them the right if they had legally purchased them. But we can, in fact, make a major effort to get them off the street and out of the possession of people.
So to gun owners out there who say, well, a Biden administration means they're going to come for my guns.
Bingo. You're right if you have an assault weapon. The fact of the matter is they should be illegal, period.
When it's hot, the last thing you want is your home's AC to quit on you. At 1 Hour Air Conditioning and Heating, our team of comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. From simple repairs to more complex fixes, we'll get you cool and comfortable quickly. Just call 928-783-4242 or visit onehouryuma.com.
Always on time or you don't pay a dime. Always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Alexander Ford, voted Yuma's best new car dealer in 2021, also wants to be Yuma's best choice for pre-owned. Our selection of pre-owned vehicles is growing daily. Select from our Blue certified cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Your only locally owned Ford store wants to put you in the used vehicle of your dreams at terms that won't break your budget. Visit us online at BillAlexanderFord.com. We offer the easiest financing and best terms in Yuma. For difference you can count on, visit Yuma's best, Alexander Ford, 32nd Street.
Hi, this is Tony Gwynn Jr., excited to be on 560 KBLU for San Diego Padres baseball. Get the games here and get the complete game schedule at KBLUAM.com.
Padres baseball on KBLU is brought to you in part by Paradise Casino Sportsbook. There's nowhere better to place your bets than Paradise Casino Sportsbook. So much, so close.
Hi, Jill. How's your father doing in hospice?
Oh, not good, Susan. Not good at all. His nurse hasn't seen him in over a week, and she said she'll visit him when she gets a chance.
Have you called Hospice of Yuma, the community nonprofit hospice provider? They have the lowest patient-to-nurse ratio in our area.
Does their nonprofit status really make a difference?
Yes, Jill, it really does. Their priority is on caring for the patient, not on increasing profitability. Let's call them and get your father what he deserves.
Hospice of Yuma, nonprofit hospice care. There is a difference.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you on a Friday morning. It's already June 24th. Yeah, it's getting a little warm out. Prepare yourself. It's upon us, I'm afraid. The Oregon BIPOC teachers claims that eye rolling is an example of a harmful practice rooted in white supremacy. BIPOC is Black, Indigenous, and people of color. I'll get into that story a little bit. Let me see if I can take a phone call. I might have hung up. I think I hung up on him accidentally. My apologies. That was a fat finger miss is when I went for the phone. Let's try it again. You're on the air.
I am.
Yes.
Amazing.
Good morning. Mel, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. And it's nice to know that someone out there misses me.
Oh,
Thank you.
I've been getting comments.
Well, we're doing well. Although this stuff keeps falling out. Water keeps falling out of the sky out here. I've never seen so much.
Wow. How does that happen? Yeah.
I don't know, but it's rained. It rained pretty good yesterday. Raining pretty good today. So anyway, in fact, all week it's been off and on. Anyway, this new bill does nothing to protect Americans. What it does is gives the government just that much more power.
Well, I worry about that red flag thing on where that's going
that's exactly what a red flag is.
Yeah.
It's giving the government just that another foot in the door, if you will.
Yeah.
And it bothers the hell out of me. But
it skips due process. Due process is out the window. You just run up and take someone's guns all of a sudden.
Exactly. And all it takes is a phone call from anybody for any perceived reason. I mean, I think that George is a dangerous person. We better take his guns away from him. And so so they investigate. And after a while, George is exonerated, but still in all, he has had to go through all the legal ramifications and everything else to get his property back. It just makes no sense.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to petition the courts to get it back.
Right.
That's opposite from what it should be. That's the wrong way to go.
Exactly right. And every time the government they pass a bill of this nature that's supposed to make things a little bit safer, a little bit better.
Right.
Basically, all it is the government grabbing just a little bit more authority that the Constitution did not mean for them to have.
You only have to give up a little liberty for safety, just a little liberty. And we were warned about that by our.
Well, when does a little becomes too much, Russ? There's the question.
It's chipping away every day. It's always too much, buddy. It's always
every day.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that bill bothers me, but that's just the way it is, I guess. We got people that are sitting there. There's the old thing about giving up liberty for security. Find out that they have neither one in the long run.
And I think one of our framers says you deserve neither if you give up liberty for security.
That's right. You will find that you have none. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So anyway,
thanks, buddy.
Hello to everyone back there. Talk to you again one of these days, and take care.
Good to hear your voice. Take care, man. Bye-bye. Of course, that was Mel, there in Kansas, where he said water's falling out of the sky. I don't know how that happens. Although we had a little bit of rain the other day in Yuma. In fact, I drove through a little bit. It's kind of odd. Haven't seen it in a while. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Russ.
Good morning,
Russ. So the red flag law is what's the issue right here on this new law, this new bill that these 15 Republicans went along with, right?
Correct. It gives money to the states so they can do their own red flag laws. Yes, correct.
Well, as much as I would love to see the end of gun violence and school shootings, makes me sick. This law is not going to stop any of this. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop it, Russ. I mean, look at so this new gun law is meant to end. So it's going to save thousands and thousands of lives. That would be all nice and whatever, but I just don't see it happening. These red flag laws. I mean, I like a lot of what's in the bill, the mental health and all this whatnot. But I mean, you see these states like New York, Illinois, California, strictest gun laws, and yet these states, as you know, have this sky high murders, gun violence, gangs. I mean, is this law is going to go after these gang members, these thugs? It's not. Are they going to be impacted by the red flag laws? No.
No.
The law-abiding citizens are. You know, I'm a law-abiding citizen. Let's just say someone can easily just kind of say, "Oh, I don't like him. He's got a Trump sign on his front yard, and I'm scared. So you better go take his gun away." So they're going to come take my gun away. I'm going to go through all that process of hiring an attorney. What recourse do I have? I mean, did I not hear this yesterday? The person being having to go through all this can go after that person that made those accusations against them and to receive compensation.
Oh,
Will I be able to do that?
I don't think so, but I don't know. It's going to depend on the law in the states to write them. But
I think these red flag laws, Russ, it's all going to go back to the Supreme Court again. And so why are liberals? If they're so concerned, why are liberals so upset about this Supreme Court ruling yesterday handed down in New York? Russ, I had no idea. I don't really care about New York. I don't plan to visit that state. It's a swamp as far as I'm concerned. But the belly of the beast. But what I'm saying is, well, how can a state tell you what's the justification? What's the justification as to why you want a gun? I would tell anybody my justification is the Second Amendment.
right, I just tell them you like guns. That's fine. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know there was a law like that in New York. You got all this murder going on in New York. Again, these states that have the strictest gun rights. These are states that are run by Democrats, and they've got these super duper strict gun laws. And you have all this sky high murder.
Yeah.
And you have all this gun violence, and these gun laws are not working. These thugs and these gangsters that do the bidding for the Democrats.
Well, they don't pay attention. The thugs and the criminals don't care about the laws you pass. It's only affecting law-abiding citizens. You know, it doesn't affect everybody else.
So these red flag laws are going to affect you and I.
Yes.
Essentially, someone who sees, I think he likes Trump, so we got to go get his gun away from him. You know, I mean, come on. Man, I mean,
that's not an exaggeration. It's hilarious, but probably not an exaggeration. True.
You know, so this isn't going to curb any gun violence. This is all, and I don't know who these rhinos were that went along with them. I mean, they're rhinos.
Yeah, there's 15 of them. You can look them up. They're not none of them from Arizona.
Just one more thing. This whole thing with the Supreme Court, which I'm glad they got rid of this law in New York. I really am. I love our Supreme Court. Of course, you have one Democrat saying that we need to do a dissolution of the Supreme Court now.
Well, that was
they don't like
that was a media guy that Keith Olbermann, I think, was the one that said that. Dissolve it, get rid of it. Yeah. When they don't like any rules that are handed down, they want to get rid of it. Right.
They don't like it. Well, that's the way it is. I mean, this is a law of the land. This is one of our greatest institutions, and without it, we have no structure. You don't like it, tough.
Right.
Hey, Russ, have a great
Appreciate
weekend.
it, buddy. Bye-bye. Yeah, I think it was Olbermann that did that. As far as red flag laws in the state of Illinois, which since he brings it up, Illinois has had a red flag law since January 1st, 2019. So they've had a red flag law in place, and it's done nothing in Illinois but have increase in gun problems since they've instituted it, because they've only had increases in crime, violent crime, murders, shootings, you name it, since the red flag law has been in place in Illinois, Chicago particularly. I don't know about the whole state, but definitely in Chicago. I started talking about the BIPOC teachers, and those are the Black, Indigenous, and people of color teachers in Oregon are having a problem with eye rolling. They say it's rooted in white supremacy. And I got to thinking about that. And, the person I remember most, eye rolling is a fact. I've got a daughter, and I've been around girls that seem to have that problem with eye rolling particularly. I think it's mostly women, but guys eye roll too, I would assume. I'll probably try it today. But the person I remember most with the eyes and the most the use of their eyes is an actor named Haiti McDaniel. She's the first. She was in Gone with the Wind, and I remember her eyes specifically in watching Gone with the Wind, how expressive And you could tell real quickly if she was dismissing you or whatever. She was an Oscar-winning actress. In fact, the first black actress to win an Oscar. And I think she invented it myself. The eye rolling. I don't think it's a white supremacy thing. I don't know how you get everything evil in white supremacy, and I don't see how you get that eye rolling is evil. But it's definitely a fact of life. The reason they bring it up, the principal Cynthia Lamb Moffitt, which I'm assuming is part of the BIPOC because she is on the chopping block, and this BIPOC group, which has come together, is complaining about that. We believe that much of the resistance to Principal Moffitt's work is a result of bias and targeted aggression. As BIPOC educators, we have observed, experienced, and witnessed similar micro and macro expressions. And they were concerned that the staff response to the principal's staff members rolled their eyes during meetings while Principal Moffitt is speaking. Staff raised their voice, interrupted Principal Moffitt during meetings, and spoke in a disrespectful and aggressive manner. Aggressive emails and behaviors over the school radio towards BIPOC staff, and said they were being ignored and bothered. He said that racial slurs were directed at Principal Moffitt by staff members, and white staff called a group of BIPOC staff a gang. After listing out all of their complaints, the teacher asked why they were being labeled divisive when they were trying to dismantle those harmful practices rooted in white supremacy. The potential of losing an intentionally culturally responsive leader is sending a chilling message to us BIPOC staff. And that BIPOC educators and leaders that prioritize equitable practices will be tokenized, silenced, and pushed out. Situations creating confusion and fear among us, and is leading us to question why we are not being heard and instead are being labeled as diverse or divisive, and we're trying to dismantle harmful practices rooted in white supremacy. Maybe it's your profiling of every behavior as white supremacy and it's rooted in white. Maybe that's why they think you're divisive. I don't know. Educators say, we feel the actions we have witnessed and experienced this year have greatly harmed us. Said their emotional and physical well-being were impacted by the microaggressions. The teachers then demanded and confirmed that principal was not to be terminated, an investigation into the bias and racial aggression as well to stop the staff members from undermining. I wouldn't want to work there right now. I mean, this is in Oregon, and of course, Oregon is deeply progressive, deeply left, and that's what you get. You're going to get this kind of stuff going on. But to just spew this nonsense, this aggressiveness themselves, the BIPOC guys, and the micro expressions are causing her to be on the chopping block. And of course, that was just a rumor they heard. Don't know any of that. And we don't know anything other than what they're just telling us. But harmful practice rooted in white supremacy. Where'd they come up with that? I guess they can just say it and then it's true. Rooted in white supremacy. We'll be right back. AM 560, KBLU.
We're talking today with Plan Z dieter Mary.
I had added 20 pounds to what I'd lost from gastric bypass, and I wanted to get that off, and I wanted something fast because I need fast results or you lose interest. I looked at a lot of different diets, trying Weight Watchers, Nutrisystems, and I decided I need to find out how to stop this.
Mary's not alone. She wanted to stop the yo-yo dieting. It's obvious she tried a lot of things, including gastric bypass surgery, and she still needed help.
And so I tried Plan Z and lost 29 pounds, had great results. The best thing was, after the first 10 days on the diet, I felt wonderful, but I had lost 4 inches of belly fat around my middle.
You want to lose the belly fat? You want to learn how to get weight off quickly and keep it off? Check out PlanZDiet.com. PlanZDiet.com.
Why did the Freon in my AC leak? Well, no metal today is like yesterday's. The copper is different and the price is higher. The new Rheem heat pumps are built like yesterday's, and now Rheem has a 10-year parts warranty on their units in the event they fail. If you want to talk heat pumps, stop by our shop, Air Central Heating and Cooling, your local Rheem dealer.
Give Air Central a call or just log on to acuma.com.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
Where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you on Friday morning, 6:51 already in the morning. It goes quickly in here. Now, we know that used car prices are going up. They are. And partially because new car prices are going way up, and shortage of new cars, for that, because of the chip thing, there's not as many as people would like out there. Prices have gone up on everything with the inflation, but some used cars more than others. The hybrids, like Toyota Priuses, were up 32.1%. That's huge. The used car prices in hybrids went up 32.1%. And the Prius went up to a 34,372, and I don't know. It's kind of weird they put an actual dollar figure out there, but because there's different years and different conditions. But anyway, electric cars rose 37.7%, and maybe that's an average, 58,165. And amongst them, the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid was a really heavy one, and that's since May of 2021, it's gone up 47.8%. Used Hyundai Sonata Hybrids. Nissan Leafs have gone up 41%. Tesla Model S, 39%. Toyota Prius Prime, 38. Regular Toyota Prius, I didn't know there was a difference, 38.3. And then the Mercedes-Benz G-Class, 35, and BMW, 34, all the way down to the Fiat 5. I didn't even know they had a hybrid, 31.6%. Yeah, of course the Model S is a all electric. I think some of these in here are all electric. Nissan Leaf is all electric. Yeah, some of those are all electric. Wow, those are huge price increases, and that's since May of 2021. So if you own any of those cars, you're like, wow, guess I picked right. I got a car that didn't depreciate. It actually went up in value. That's not common. Not common at all. Little story out there about Biden is, Biden is scripted, as we all know, telepromptered, scripted, told what to do, has the Easter Bunny chasing him around, telling him to, chasing people away. Doesn't interact much with press or anybody. And when he does, he's heavily coached. Well, he happened to hold up a note card that had writing on both sides of the note card. Now, see, I bet they don't do that again, because the writing on the one side of the note card was his notes on how he should enter the room and stuff like that, which of course causes him embarrassment. He had the talking points on one side, which it's great to have notes. I think anybody that is handling the things that a president handles should have some notes and direction. You're gonna be handling so much all the time. You want to keep it straight, because if you make a misstep, you may not have Edward standing by to give you a fact correction or something, which I'm very fortunate for. And it's not easy to correct, because it's already hit the cameras. Well, look, on this note card that he was showing everybody, because it's on the back of the one he's holding up, there was instructions. I think there were seven different things he had to do. Number 1, he says, you enter the Roosevelt room and say hello to participants. If someone handed me a card like that, I guess I'd be a little insulted. I'd say, who wrote this? Number 2, you take your seat. Number 3, the press will enter. Number 4, you give brief comments, and it says 2 minutes. Biden did speak for roughly 8 minutes. Probably 2 minutes worth of information. And then once the press release departs, which is number 5, you then ask number 6, which is you ask Liz Schuler, President AFL-CIO, a question. I wonder why you ask that after the press departs. But that's just the instructions he gets. And with a note that Schuler was joining virtually. And the final bullet point read, thank your participants and you depart. It's kind of sad, but as people age, it's not uncommon. As memory starts slipping, that they start putting sticky notes all over the place and start having instructions spelled out that at one time you just wouldn't do. I think he's been well into that part of life. I think he's there. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
We went through that with my mother-in-law with Alzheimer's, or dementia, with dementia. And that's why I can say, by listening to him speak and watching his action, he has dementia, signs of dementia.
I think there's been a lot of doctors that have come forward that have suggested that is also the case, that he is, particularly when you can look at some of his old footage from even 10, 15 years ago. He's not the same. He's not even close to the same.
The only difference between our president and my mother-in-law was 99 years old.
It can hit us at any time, depending on lifestyle, genetics, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
The reason I called, I don't know if you talked about it earlier. We've been busy again in the South 40. All over Facebook, they're asking, and I guess CNN and MSNBC are asking, why do we need an AR-15 or 14 and 30-round clips? Well, our forefathers told us this many, many, many years ago in the beginning of our country. We need weapons to protect ourselves from the government.
That was actually the underlying clause behind the Second Amendment. It wasn't to hunt squirrels. Yeah.
Exactly. So for NBC, MSNBC, and CNN, and all the other communist TV stations out there, that's your answer. It's under the Second Amendment clause, unless you all want to change the Constitution.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it, man. Right.
God bless you. God bless America.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Of course, it was Gilbert. And something else he mentions about, the left has always said, you don't need. Says, when in America was anything a need? You don't need a car that does 160. You don't need a car with 500 horsepower. You don't need a stamp collection. You don't need an art collection. There's a lot of things we don't need, but as Americans, particularly as Americans, we can exercise our desires, our wants, and collectibilities, or fascination, or hobbies, whatever that is. And, of course, the left will say, but stamp collections don't kill people. Well, there's a lot of collections that do, though. I mean, it's possible. People have died in car accidents, helicopters, airplanes, power tools, you name it, knives, acid, whatever. There's a lot of things that can kill people. And yes, the gun was designed in a very efficient way, if that's your desire. But again, it's none of your business whether I want a clip of 30 or 40. It's none of your business at all. And it doesn't come down to what you think I need. I think it's personal choice. And it's my liberty to decide exactly what I desire and what I want to have. And you shouldn't have your fingers in it. And I think that's the way we were founded, and that's what we need to support until someone becomes violent, because the gun is never violent. We'll be back. It's top of the hour news, AM 560, KBLU.
Tax the rich, feed the poor. tell there are no rich no more.
From the 1 Hour Air Conditioning and Heating Studio, this is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
News. Protesters outside the Supreme Court, where more rulings will be issued in moments. The most anticipated on abortion after the much protested leaked draft opinion showing conservative justices poised to give states more rights to restrict abortion. But that is one of 9 cases still pending, so it may or may not be among those decided today.
We don't know how many, and we don't know which ones. I've never gotten 9 opinions in a day, so we would expect they'll be scattered over next week, potentially adding some days beyond Monday, which for now, guys, is set as the official end of the Supreme Court term.
That's Fox's Shannon Bream. The House could vote today on the gun control legislation that passed the Senate late last night, with 15 Republicans joining Democrats in favor, including Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
This is a common sense package. Its provisions are very, very popular.
Not with many other Republicans. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik told Fox Business,
"We are urging a no vote for our colleagues. As the House Republican Conference Chair, we've put out all of the information regarding our constitutional concerns when it comes to this bill."
They have concern about funding for states with red flag laws that can take guns away from those a court deems dangerous. The bill also would disarm some domestic abusers and enhance background checks on gun buyers under 21. Russia's invasion of Ukraine started 4 months ago today, and as the bombardment continues in the eastern part of the country, the war will be a big focus for President Biden and other world leaders the next several days when he heads to Europe for G7 and NATO summits. The Secretary of State Antony Blinken says they are focused on the fighting and
on some of the second and third order consequences of Russia's aggression. No more so than when it comes to food insecurity.
The head of the United Nations warned today of a food shortage catastrophe and global hunger as Russia keeps blocking most exports from Ukraine, a key grain provider for the rest of the world. America's listening to Fox News.
Life is about being active. Whether it's about going on your daily tasks or exercising, you know you're well when you're regularly active. But what happens when being active actually hurts by the end of the day? This is the position I found myself in a number of years ago. Everything I wanted to do in my daily life, all of the activity it called for, was held captive to almost constant nagging pain. When I heard about Relief Factor, I was skeptical, but my wife said, "Give it a chance." Not long after I took it, I could feel the pain begin to melt away, and I've been taking it ever since. And I can tell you that Relief Factor has helped me get my life back. I love that it's not a drug, but it was developed by doctors, and about 70% of the people who try it go on to order more. Your first step to becoming pain-free just might be ordering a 3-week quick start for only $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF, or ReliefFactor.com. Find out all about this offer and feel the difference.
Morning News is brought to you by Sprague Sports on 32nd Street, Yuma's hunting and shooting headquarters, and responsible gun ownership since 1956.
Truckmates, Yuma's Fix Up Your Pickup Truck Store. Is Yuma's home for snug top shells and lids. Snug Top, designed and manufactured to the highest standard. Industry-leading quality and trend-setting design that protect and complement your vehicle. That's Snug Top. Truckmates is also your Line-X spray-in bed liner dealer. Line-X, #1 in America for spray-in bed liners. With nationwide warranty coverage, is now available and installed by Yuma's most experienced spray-on team at Truckmates. So protect your vehicle inside and out with Line-X spray-in bed liners and snug top shells and lids at Truckmates. Truckmates is also your home for BDS suspensions, the highest quality aftermarket suspension lift kits, leveling kits, and accessories for 4x4 off-road truck and Jeep enthusiasts. And BDS suspensions are backed by the best lifetime warranty in the industry. BDS suspensions, Line-X spray-in bed liners, and snug top shells and lids at Truckmates in its brand new building, same location, 32nd Street next to Lowe's.
Here's the news in 60 seconds from YumaDailyNews.com. Ambulance rides from east side of the county will now be equipped with newly funded equipment from YRMC. The hospital says it helps patients who take longer ambulance rides to get to the emergency room. Learn more about the equipment, YumaDailyNews.com. USDA has been warning Yuma County and others that are in natural disaster areas. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, these counties suffered from drought intensity during the growing season. Learn if you are affected on the website. 3 migrants have been rescued by YCSO after roaming the desert for about 3 days. Officials say they were dehydrated and overheated. YCSO have said how these incidents have been happening a lot due to ongoing border crisis. Read more about the border crisis on the website. The GOP has been planning to expand school vouchers to students in Arizona. The bill allows over 1.1 million students to get an ESA account to pay for their education. Read more about the bill, YumaDailyNews.com. For the latest local and state stories, go to YumaDailyNews.com. I'm Kendra White.
After 43 years, 24 Karat Jewelers is closing its doors. Their closing business sale will save you 50% off all jewelry, including all wedding sets and diamonds. That's right, 50% off their entire inventory of jewelry. 24th Street and Avenue B in Yuma. 24 Karat Jewelers closing business sale means 50% off all jewelry, earrings, pendants, rings, and necklaces. 50% off their entire jewelry inventory. 24th Street and Avenue B. After 43 years, 24 Karat Jewelers says, thank you, Yuma.
Alexander Ford, voted Yuma's best new car dealer in 2021, also wants to be Yuma's best choice for pre-owned. Our selection of pre-owned vehicles is growing daily. Select from our Blue certified cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Your only locally owned Ford store wants to put you in the used vehicle of your dreams at terms that won't break your budget. Visit us online at BillAlexanderFord.com. We offer the easiest financing and best terms in Yuma. For difference you can count on, visit Yuma's best, Alexander Ford, 32nd Street.
Your next sports bet is closer than ever at Paradise Sportsbook. Kick back and experience live sports betting right in Yuma. There's nowhere better to place your bets. So much action, so close to home. Paradise Casino.
Must be 21 and older. Management reserves all rights. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP 24/7 for problem gambling.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you on a Friday morning, 7:06. This hour brought to you by Hyundai of Yuma. They're advertisers on the show. And you can visit with them. Go out there on 32nd Street, the veteran-owned business. They love giving you a ride. You know, that's what they do. They want you to drive the car, get behind the wheel, figure out how the radio works. All that. It's all simple. Ergonomics is all there. It's all right. Also, trade-ins. If you're taking a trade-in, they want your trade-in. They do. So take it in there with you. They'll take a look at your car while you're looking at theirs, and they'll let you know what it's worth. And you can tell them, like, look, I'm not sure if I'm going to buy a car today, but I do want to do the trade-in. And they'll just cut you a check and give you a ride home. Just that simple. America's best warranty, 5 years, 60,000 miles, 10 years, 100,000 miles. And you don't have to, but tell them I sent you. I mean, that's not a requirement. They'll take good care of you without that. No question. I've already got a phone call. Let me see who that is. You're on the air.
Good morning, Russ. How are we doing?
We're doing well, Carl.
You know, you were talking about guns this morning. Well,
Yeah.
guess my 2 cents is going to have to be when these stupid people let people come into my house and take my gun where I can't get one, they better get my hammer while they're at it. That's how stupid this law is.
Oh yeah. And in other countries, you know, taking the guns away are helpful in making sure that the government can have control over you, but they're not helpful in reducing crime. Crime continues.
Well, why don't they do something about Chicago?
They did. They put a red flag law in a couple of years ago. It's done nothing but increase crime. They put in the strictest gun laws. It's done nothing but increase crime. They do all they can to restrict gun owners, legal gun owners, make it complicated for them to buy ammunition. They need to get a special ID card. You don't need an ID to vote, but you need a special ID, not your driver's license. You get a separate ID card just for the buying of ammunition. And still, they got the highest crime rates that involve firearms.
That's because they're nice to the people that are guilty.
Well, they're attacking guns, not people. They're going after guns. Yeah, the people they don't do anything with you. I mean, they end up not punishing them to the full extent of the law. You know, because too many minorities are in jail, or they grew up in a harsh neighborhood. And we're not going to throw the book at them. Those kind of things. And
You know-
then they wonder why things are happening like they are. They don't even enforce the laws on the books.
And so if somebody's going to go into a school, if he doesn't have a gun, you can make bombs pretty easy, and that gets a lot of people real quick. So
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many ways that,
so many ways.
yeah, we could get a Green Beret in here and describe the ways that you could end somebody, but it's endless. It's endless, including driving a car through a parade. You could do that. They don't talk much about that Ford, and they didn't go after the Ford Motor Company.
No. Anyway, Russ,
Yeah.
you know, I wanted to thank the people that came to our deal last night. We had about 25 to 30 people came down. It was all on a spur of the moment down to Community Christian Church to watch the debate between the senators.
Sure.
And they all did a pretty good job, so it was a very interesting setup. So
I would expect they would. I did not watch it. I've been trying to still catch up from my time away, but there's a good group of people there.
they're all. I thought they were all pretty good. They all spoke good. They all, so, and that's what we need to see. We need to see the people we're trying to elect to run our government, because
Oh yes.
if we don't do it this time, we're going to be just like Venezuela.
I'm a big believer in voting, but also educating yourself a little bit. Get some idea and understanding of our policies, procedures, how our systems work, and then who are these people that are running and what do they really stand for? Not versus what are they just saying? Just the rhetoric isn't enough.
And the last thing I want to say, and I hate to do it, but we should go back to a paper ballot and do it correctly, because our voting is the most important thing we have going for us. Our vote is more important than that money we have in the pocket. So, and I like early balloting, because I can sit there and I already know who I'm going to vote for. I can fill it out and I can go put it in the mailbox if I want to. I can take it down and give it to anybody, but I won't have anybody come by my front door and hand it to.
Right.
That is about the most stupid thing our government has done, is just send out a bunch of ballots for our voting, and then anybody can hand them back in. And we proved it with 2,000 mules, proved how they cheated, and the Republicans aren't doing a darn thing about it. In fact, you don't even hear nothing about 2,000 mules.
No, and I know they're aware, and I know there's some things going on that we don't know about, like the 16 people that were picked up in South County and had all their electronics confiscated, and we just don't know. I don't know what's going on. I have to have some faith that something is for the first time, and I think something is happening. I don't know to what scope and how deep it goes, and whether it's fast enough.
I guess we're going to have to ask David, because that little guy's right in there fighting with them all the time for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that David Law is one of the reasons why the 20,000 mules was exposed. That's in my opinion only, but they proved right in there how they done it. They showed people that did it, how they did it. And the Republicans don't do nothing about it.
Yeah. Appreciate the call, buddy.
Bye.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye. Of course, it was Carl. Give me his 2 cents. Let me give you, before I take a break, this article intrigues me. It came out a couple days ago. It came from, it was about the Chief of Staff, Ron Klan. I don't really know the Chief of Staff's name. I have to look it up. He's not in the news very much, and he's a guy propping up Bernie, so you'd think he would be more noteworthy, but he wanted to make an announcement he was particularly proud of, and that was that Joe Biden has decided to appoint a Marilyn Malarba. She's the chief of Mohegan tribe, to serve as U.S. Treasury. As we know, the Biden administration is doing everything they can to reach out to diversity. They I guess schedule all their hiring for these positions to be, of a diverse nature that we don't have on the staff yet. And that seems to be the criteria versus can they do the job. And some of these people may be good at it. I don't know, but it's always skeptical when that's their only criteria, is that we get diversity out there. Although there really is no diversity, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. It's and I know there was a pastor that was on the air the other day that George brought on, George Braun, one of my more favorite interviews, and he was a pastor, a man of color, and talked about diversity. And he said he sat in a rainbow room of humans. There were a rainbow of humans, just every mix that you could possibly think of, and not any diversity at all. Because all their ideals, everything they thought was exactly the same. Because skin color doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Neither does, sexual preference and all that other stuff. It doesn't really matter as far as diversity. Unless you're looking for diversity only in that. But as far as diversity ideas and diversity of intelligence and what we're looking for, and diversity in expertise, he didn't see it in the room at all. There was no diversity. And that thing has stuck with me a little bit, and that I thought it was very profound, and that he's also been in a room of where, it may be a room full of nothing but people of color. And great diversity. Wonderful different ideas and a grouping of information that's very diverse. And group of, a diverse character. And gosh, getting back to Martin Luther King, that's what really matters. But I sidetracked from the story. But anyway, she's a chief of Mohegan tribe, serve as a U.S. treasurer, and she will be the first Native American to serve in the post, according to the White House. And for the first time in history, the signatures of 2 women will appear on our currency. And this seems to be the thing that this administration is most proud of, on how many first on women or trans or gays or people of color, indigenous, whatever, can fit different positions. Seems to be their goal. It's also a time the money's becoming worth less. Soaring inflation, declining value. And we got 2 girls on it. What does that tell us? Really nothing. We'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU.
Kokopah Casino and Resort is giving away fortunes of cash in June. Every Friday and Saturday between 4 and 8 p.m., 2 winners every hour could win up to $500. Then on June 25th, 1 lucky winner will be drawn for $5,000. You can earn entries now by playing your favorite slots or table games with your rewards card. See the Rewards Club for details. Kokopah Casino has your fortunes of cash this summer because we love our loyals at Kokopah Casino, South Highway 95 in Somerton.
Arizonans are getting to know Kerry Lake and discovering the difference between the real Kerry Lake and fake lake. Fake Lake talks tough on the border, but the real Kerry Lake supported amnesty and backed a plan to allow 11 million illegals to stay in the U.S. indefinitely. Fake Lake claimed to be a lifetime member of the NRA. The real Kerry Lake actually joined the NRA just last year when she started running for governor. Fake Lake calls herself a conservative, but the real Lake gave money to Barack Obama. Lake even knocked on doors for Obama's campaign. The true conservative outsider for governor is Karen Taylor Robeson. Karen is a lifelong proven conservative, proud gun owner, and successful business executive who has helped build some of the state's best communities and create thousands of Arizona jobs. Karen Taylor Robeson for governor. Authorized by Karen Taylor Robeson.
Paid for by Karen for Arizona.
Would you look at the time? It's tax time. You already know H&R Block does taxes, but here's what you may not know when you file with H&R Block, like how you can get expert help in person or virtually. Plus, our tax pros average 10 years of experience. You can even request to work with the same tax pro every year, and your biggest possible refund is always guaranteed. No one offers more ways to help with your taxes than H&R Block. At H&R Block, help is here.
Inflation is truly wicked. It's like the government taking money directly from your bank account. This is Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe you can fight inflation with a gold IRA. To explain how gold IRAs work, my friends at Birch Gold have published a free info kit explaining everything. To get your copy, text the word safeguard to 989898. It's free and there's no obligation.
Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you on a Friday morning, 7:20. I got to share something with you from my fact checker Edward. And he's always interesting in that he lives a lifestyle and does things that many of us don't really get to understand and see, other than, and he shared them with us on his high level business activity and moving in the circles he does. He sent me a notice this morning. Well, let me, I'm going to take the phone call. I'm going to put you on hold for just a second, just to finish my thoughts on this with Edward. But he deals with big business. I mean, huge business. It's and he calls in sharing a lot of ideas with us at times. And sometimes he's sarcastic and talks about how the rich need to get richer and all that kind of stuff in order to inform us on what's really happening with some of these pending policies and procedures that are getting into effect. He did something this morning, he said, it just kind of shocked me, but he fired his law firm this morning. And it's a law firm that has been with the organization, his organization, for 90 years. So this law firm has a history. And the reason was what they stated about Second Amendment rights are against their morals. Fired two of the attorneys. And he says they've been moving too far left, but today was a step too much for me to handle. So good for him. Brave, good. I mean, these are, this law firm obviously knows his industry, knows his business, knows everything that's going on, and replacing him will be, I'm sure, not an easy task or whatever, but standing up for those kind of things is actually huge. I mean, that is huge. That's great. He also puts in there that Supreme Court overturns Roe versus Wade. It's official now. Let me take a phone call. You're on the air.
Yeah, a little PSA this morning.
All right.
The virtual kidnapping scam is back here in the Yuma area.
Yeah.
And folks need to be aware of that. Matter of fact, they're so lazy now they don't even want to go with the bank account scam. They want you to just bring the money to Mexico.
Oh. Drive down there with money? Really? Wow.
Yeah, they like I said, they're eliminating the middleman, so to speak. But you need to be real cautious of this one. I think I got one the other night. What you need to do, number one, they're going to say they got some relative there, and they want this much so they won't be harmed.
Yeah.
But just pretty much hang up on them, get a hold of law enforcement, and then call the relative, of course, to make sure they're all right. But they're getting all this information off social media now that people are just putting too much stuff out there about their own life and everything. And so they got all the connect. They don't have to work too hard to get the connections, and they know who to call. And so
and
you need to be.
They prey on the old, so you're a target.
Yeah, they'll say it's your kid or your whatever,
grandchild, whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The grandchild is the big one because they figure the grandparents are always they ain't gonna let them have their grandkids. Of course, you're not. But I don't know. I think I just told them, well, it's all right if I'm not bringing you any money, and I'll just kill him myself if he's brought me into this. you just got to be well aware that this is going on. Don't give them any information over the phone. Don't talk to them. If you hang up, they'll call back anyway. So, But in the meantime, you got time to check things out, like I said, with a family member that's been kidnapped or whatever.
Right. Yeah, you got to check it out. Appreciate that, man. That's going on heavy.
Yep.
It's going to get worse. Thanks.
Yep, it is.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And I did get a call like that while I was in Tampa. I answered my dad's phone, who, had just passed a week earlier or so, and answered the phone, and I just said hello or whatever, and the person, I don't even remember exactly what he said initially, but just so I just wanted to call and see how you're doing or something, and I said, I'm doing fine. And I said, how are you? And he says, not so good. And I said, really? What's up? And he says, well, I'm in trouble. Got into that, and there was an accident, and they're accusing me of a DUI. And I said, well, you probably were drinking then. And I carried this thing on for quite a while until, without saying names, without saying anything, because he didn't tell me his name, and I wasn't going to tell him mine, or that my father, whose phone he was calling, had passed. And he finally says, well, you know who this is, right? I go, of course I do. He says, oh, you do then? He says, yeah, you're a con artist trying to steal money. And he said something like, I hope you die, and he hung up or something like that. And I probably went on for a couple minutes, but those guys are out there, man. They're horrible, horrible people that would steal from the people that are most caring and not sure, like, don't tell mom, don't tell dad, whatever. And it's just a shame that their predators are out there so heavy that are doing these kinds of scams. It's just disgusting. I want to talk about the millennials and the Generation Zs. These are the young people that we don't understand completely. They're turning to the BNPL services, and I did. I had to look it up. I didn't know, and maybe some of you do. If someone says, well, yeah, I turn to the BNPL services, do you know what that is off the top of your head? I had to look it up. It's buy now, pay later. Of course, we know what those are. It's you deliver this today, and it's only, $15 a week, whatever. But those kind of services are growing, and, most major outlets do have a BNPL, and some services specialize. Some businesses specialize in those kinds of services. Well, with inflation growing at 8.3% in April, a survey found that these respondents, 51%, said they fear of taking on too much debt amid rising levels of inflation and is preventing them from using a BPL service. However, 41% of those between the ages of 18 and 34 said they'd likely use it. So 41, it's not the majority anymore. The inflation scared them a little bit. We still got 41% that want to use the buy now, pay later, and that was compared to 12% of age 55 and up. So that's definitely a target group. Of the 18 to 34s would be the target group of the buy now, pay later. Of the group that uses the buy now, pay later, 25% are already planning to use the service to help pay for household essentials that have risen because of inflation. Survey stated if you're struggling with rising costs as a result of inflation, you could consider taking out a personal loan to help pay down any debt you might have. But that's usually not what they're doing. But a lot of groups out there that are doing the buy now, pay later. And around 14% of those that have taken advantage of it, consumers, 14% of consumers that they surveyed have fallen victim to fraud by using a buy now, pay later service. So be careful about, if you do it, which service you're using and which one you're affiliated with. But I made a mistake with Best Buy, and then I bought something and I put it on my charge card and I have a Best Buy charge card, and it was zero interest or whatever on that thing. And I've done it before. I bought a camera system with that. And it took me, I paid it off in 1 year with no interest, paid it completely off and never paid a dime interest. And I just did it for cash flow. I had the money to buy the camera, but I just did it because it was there. But for some reason, I bought this watch or something, and I did not pay the bill on the day it was due, and it ended up costing me. I ended up paying more for that watch. I got it on sale and everything. I was frugal. I paid more for that watch than retail now because all of a sudden I had an extra fee. So, yeah, I just got a check for the whole thing, so I screwed that one up. I didn't have it on. I thought I had it on. In fact, I did have it on auto pay. I had that whole thing on auto pay. Somehow it got kicked off, and maybe they were updating the service or maybe whatever. But the auto pay wasn't enacted anymore, but it was always in my profile, and all of a sudden it was gone. But yeah, I got messed up because those fees became high all of a sudden. So yeah, you do those no interest and all that. They sound good. If you miss a step, it's going to cost you big. And I did, and that's unusual for me. I usually do set up auto pays so I don't worry about it. I mean, I remember getting the notice, the electronic bill, and I said, good, I've got that all taken care of, no problem. And then I got a note that I was late, and it cost me. I mean, it wasn't a big amount of money. But it was more money than what I saved on the things. I said, wow, that was terrible. Unfortunately, I'll be back. AM 560 KBLU.
Temperatures will stay above average on this Friday. It will be clear this morning. Expect some sunshine right on through the afternoon as the high temperature climbs up to 110, with a light breeze out of the southwest near 5 to 10 miles per hour. Winds will stay light overnight, and the low should eventually drop to 83 under a clear sky. It will be a sunny Saturday tomorrow to start off the weekend. The high temperature hitting 108. After some initial sunshine to start Sunday, enough moisture may creep in to produce an isolated afternoon thunderstorm. The high temperature on Sunday close to 104. I'm meteorologist Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel.
What's the best audio service you never have to pay for? Local Arizona Radio. No subscriptions, no user passwords, no internet required. Just hours of great music. Local Arizona news, sports, and more. Up and down your AM/FM dial. Listen in your car, on your smartphone, or your smart speaker. When you plug into local radio, you get great free programming and you support your community. Find your favorite Arizona stations today at plugintoaz.com.
Hi, this is Tony Gwynn Jr., excited to be on 560 KBLU for San Diego Padres baseball. Get the games here and get the complete game schedule at KBLUAM.com.
Padres baseball on KBLU is brought to you in part by Paradise Casino Sportsbook. There's nowhere better to place your bets than Paradise Casino Sportsbook. So much, so close.
Hi, I'm Trump-endorsed candidate Carrie Lake, and for the past 27 years, you welcomed me into your home to deliver the news. As your governor, I will fight hard, working for Arizona families. I will build the wall and secure the border and make certain that we, the people of Arizona, manage our own natural resources and find solutions for our water issues and cut taxes to tackle Bidenflation.
Conservative Carrie Lake for governor. Paid for by Carrie Lake for Arizona. Authorized by Carrie Lake.
The Border Report brought to you by RV World, located on Gila Ridge Road. Exit Interstate 8 on Araby Road, then head west on Gila Ridge about a quarter mile. RV World, Yuma's premier recreational vehicle dealer since 1991, offering a large selection of new and used RVs. Updated border reports that you need anytime at YumaDailyNews.com. Passenger vehicles, pedestrian traffic, if it's standard lanes or century lanes, whatever port of entry it is. Get updated border reports anytime at YumaDailyNews.com.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you. Couple things. Friday, 7:32. Got to congratulate Mel. Mel actually is using texting now. I mean, he's graduated to texting. He texts to me, by vote of 6-3, Roe v. Wade overturned. Of course, Edward is also texted me that, and he said, let the riots. And then he changed it to protests begin. Unfortunately, it might be true on the first one. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning again, Russ.
Good morning, Mike.
Sorry about calling back. But in case anybody wants the phone number for that vet's home,
Yeah.
I have it.
What is it, buddy?
It's 928-247-8300.
All right.
And you can pick up an application at Mike and June's place out there on South Frontage that I'll all military vet or whatever it is.
It's a great place, yeah. God,
Yeah.
it used to be Am Vets, and then it was Korean or something vets. I don't know what it is now. They change affiliations occasionally based on affiliation structure. They want to keep all the money local, but yeah.
Right. And if you want a good, inexpensive place to eat, that is the place. You can get a Grand Slam for $3.99, and coffee is included. So, amongst other menu items, but it's a very inexpensive, and their employees work for free. So be sure and tip them.
Yeah, because that $3.99 breakfast goes right back to the Veterans Association. Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, they could use your support and whatever.
Thank you,
so
sir.
Anyway, you bet. Bye.
Take care. That was Mike. I got a text here wondering if I'd heard about Saudi Arabians that have bought land in Arizona and then drilling wells and getting out water to grow alfalfa. That alfalfa is sent back to their country in Saudi Arabia to feed animals. Now, this says they do not comply with the Arizona water rights law like our farmers have to. Now, I don't know how that works, but I do know that there are those alfalfa things are real and they're really being grown, and it is working off of well water, and it is getting sent out of country. That I do know. Now, I don't know about any of them not complying with any laws because, it's legal to grow alfalfa and it's legal to use well water. I don't know what restrictions, and I don't know if they've broken laws on restrictions or they're exempt from laws on restriction. I have no idea. So I don't know that. But I know that a lot of crops grown in Arizona go overseas. In fact, our date farmers have a tremendous business of sending dates overseas. Our seed farmers, particularly, a lot of that goes overseas, as well as a lot of our crops go overseas. So it's not unusual that our industry in Arizona and Yuma, particularly, is agriculture. And agriculture doesn't all stay within the states, or it doesn't stay within the state of Arizona, of course, and travels all over the country. But in a lot of cases, and I mean the green stuff primarily, I would imagine, stays in the country just because of shelf life. But there's many things grown in Yuma that hits the transport, and gets transported out of here. It brings jobs here and it does all that, and I'm good with it and all that, as long as and I don't know if these because it's Saudi owned, that it would get some special rights that our farmers don't get, but I haven't heard that. Don't know. I could ask around that. If someone knows, please let me know. But that would be unfortunate. But business is business. I sometimes I'm thankful when Toyota or Hyundai or somebody, and Hyundai builds a lot of cars in the United States. They build factories here, and that's requested by our country. And it's a way for them to get around tariffs, is to bring the jobs to the United States. And I always see that as a good thing. House Republicans have requested, and I thought this was a weird request, they've requested pardons from Trump in wake of January 6th. Mo Brooks was one of several House Republicans who requested a pardon from former President Donald Trump in the waning days of his administration. Others who requested pardons were Matt Gaetz, Scott Perry, Andy Biggs, Louis Gohmert. And pardons for what? Pardons from the January, I don't know what that would be. For just to keep them out of any kind of, activity from the January 6th kangaroo court? I have no idea. But interesting. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, Russ, OG.
Yeah, OG, good morning.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
I hope everything went well for you.
I think we're getting things wrapped up. You know, it's a big deal to wrap
Yes,
up.
yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. People don't realize it,
Yeah.
especially when you got a couple of dollars involved. You know.
Yeah. Well, 66 years of marriage, that's a long time to accumulate a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, trust me. My father and his ranch in Oklahoma. My goodness gracious, we saved so much. You know, I told you, still in the estate in our family. Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad you're back.
Thank you.
Now, what I wanted to point out was this red flag thing.
Yeah.
Now, we have mental status hearings right here in Yuma County on crimes. It's going to be pretty much the same thing. You go to court, and they're going to see if you're mentally fit. I did this 7 times with the vandalism of my motorhome, if you remember. My RV got vandalized here in Yuma.
Okay.
And I went to court 7 times, and each time they never tried the guy. It was a mental status hearing is what it turned out to be.
Right.
Each time I got to testify. And I pointed out what a bad guy he was, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, we have them. And what I see in this red flag thing, this is going to be a bonanza for the British accredited registry people. That is your bar. All your attorneys. I see it to be a bonanza for these guys because, boy, are they going to have a whole lot more business coming now because you're going to have people. Here's the bad thing about Arizona and that people carry, you can carry your weapon on you and go into Walmart and places, right? Where they permit it.
Yeah.
Here's where what these people that are wearing it are the downside is this. All it takes is one crazy woman or one crazy guy to call the cops and say, if they get mad at you in the parking lot, for instance, and on a parking issue, and you go away. But they'll call in and say, you're waving your gun and all this other stuff simply because it was visible.
Yeah.
And that can get you in jail right there, bud. So you guys that are wearing your guns outside, please think of that, because I know a couple of guys that got in a lot of trouble and costing thousands of dollars worth of attorney fees to get out of this trouble because some crazy lunatic said they were waving their gun around. And if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. Put it in your pocket or something. That's what I do.
Wow. Yeah, it does make some people just don't understand it, but actually visitors, if somebody's wearing a sidearm, they think that's brandishing. That's not brandishing a sidearm.
Yes. Oh, yes, especially Canadians, because now we got this British registry thing. It comes out of the United Kingdom. The accredited registry comes out of them. That's where all our U.S. lawyers must register to that. They already successfully took the guns away in Australia. This is your British accredited registry guys. These are your attorneys. They are successfully, and the head of state in Australia, of course, is the Queen herself in England. In New Zealand, the Prime Minister there, remember, she had the authority. She issued an order and took up all the guns. Remember that? That was about a year ago. Yeah, but she did that in New Zealand. That is another principality of United Kingdom. So Australia and Canada, you can't have a gun up there if you're from the United States. You better not take one in there unless it's for hunting and you got a hunting license.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So now this Supreme Court thing on New York, on this Kerry thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't that great?
It was, and the left is melting down already on that. How dangerous it's going to be and everything. Like now there's going to be people that carry their guns. Well, they're already doing it. They're called criminals. The criminals have been doing it all along. It's always been there.
Number one permit means that you've got to be a legal, law-abiding citizen to get a permit to carry one in New York to start with. And they're getting upset because now everybody can carry one.
Yeah.
Criminals were carrying them anyway, Russ.
Yeah, exactly. So now you're going to have safe people, honest people that are armed, not just criminals. And
do you remember some time back a man named Getz from Connecticut was on the subway and he shot 2 or 3 black people that was going to rob him?
Yeah, that was a weird dude, Getz, but yeah, I remember.
Oh, it really was. It really was. He was home free, done, gone, and conscience got to bother him, so he reported it. And I think he ended up doing some time, didn't he?
I can't remember, but he certainly did a lot of court and got bad press.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a little odd. He was an oddball. Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yes, we agree on that. Listen, Russ, glad to have you back.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
My fact checker, Edward, commented on the Saudi purchase of land here in Yuma. And he writes, if the Saudi government made the purchase, and we don't know that's the case, but if it's true, and the land is deemed official government zones, which we don't know, but he's just telling me they would be exempt from some of those water use policies. So need to find out if that's the case. Don't know if that is the case, but that's what would make it credible if that fits that profile. Don't know. I got to take one more break. Believe it or not, it's already 7:44. We'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU.
America's border is in crisis. Last year, 2 million illegal immigrants entered our country, more than the population of Phoenix. And now, the Biden administration is busing illegal immigrants with criminal convictions across America. Who can we trust to secure the border when the politicians keep selling us out? Brandon Judd of the National Border Patrol Council and Justin Harris of the Arizona Police Officers Association trust Jim Lehman for U.S. Senate.
I am so proud, and on behalf of the National Border Patrol Council, to endorse Jim Lehman.
The Arizona Police Officers Association is proud to announce our endorsement of Jim Lehman for United States Senate.
I am Jim Lehman. Join me. Together, we'll stop the human smugglers, drugs, gangs, and politicians. Bring power back to the people of America and secure our border. I'm Jim Lehman, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jim Lehman for Senate.
It's always game time at Paradise Sportsbook. Get in on the action with live sports betting. You can make your wagers in person or from the comfort of your recliner. The choice is yours. There's nowhere better to place your bets. Give it a shot by visiting our sportsbook or download the mobile app at paradise-casinos.com. So much action, so close to home. Paradise Casino.
Must be 21 and older. Management reserves all rights. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP 24/7 for problem gambling.
Inflation's running rampant, driven up by out-of-control government spending. Senator Mark Kelly cast the deciding vote for President Biden's nearly $2 trillion spending spree. Incredibly, Kelly says the reckless spending he voted for isn't really a problem. But President Obama's economic advisors blame the Kelly-Biden wasteful spending spree for ramping up inflation. Obama's top economic advisor called it, quote, the least responsible economic policy in 40 years. Even the liberal media admit Senator Kelly and President Biden's spending spree, quote, worsened inflation. But Kelly and Biden won't slow down the spending. They want to spend trillions more, making a bad situation worse. Call Senator Mark Kelly at 202-224-2235 and tell him to oppose the Senate liberals' reconciliation package. Tell Senator Kelly, stop the reckless spending to stop inflation. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
The Border Report brought to you by RV World, located on Gila Ridge Road. Exit Interstate 8 on Araby Road, then head west on Gila Ridge about a quarter mile. RV World, Yuma's premier recreational vehicle dealer since 1991, offering a large selection of new and used RVs. Updated border reports that you need anytime at YumaDailyNews.com. Passenger vehicles, pedestrian traffic, if it's standard lanes or century lanes, whatever port of entry it is. Get updated border reports anytime at YumaDailyNews.com.
Come on in, boy, sit on down and tell me about yourself. So you like my daughter, do you now? Yeah, we think she's something else. She's her daddy's girl, her mama's world. She deserves respect, that's what she'll get, ain't it, son? They all run along and have some fun. I'll see you when you get back, bet I'll be up all night, still cleaning this gun.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you. Friday morning, 7:47. It's kind of a song I used to play all the time when my daughter would come in. Yeah, I did that to her boyfriends. I'd be cleaning some firearms when they came over to pick her up, just by chance. Oh, man, be happening. The Supreme Court ruling, of course, not Roe v. Wade. We already know what that's going to do. It's already been going on. I'm glad they went ahead and did it because it's going to bring the protesting and all that at least to the peak. Let's see what they're going to do as they keep building more anger and aggressiveness in the streets, and support from the Democrats, really, to do it. So we'll see what goes on. But there's also the gun ruling that has got got some of the left just melting down on it. One of them is Adam Parkominko. I hope I got that right. Self-described Democratic strategist and consultant. So it says self-described. That makes me skeptical. But issued in a tweet, sometimes mass shooters wear robes and don't have guns, meaning the Supreme Court justices. Because the state of New York issued a public carry license only when an applicant demonstrates a special need for self-defense, we conclude that the state's licensing regime violates the Constitution. That was Justice Clarence Thomas who wrote that opinion. Because the state of New York issues public carry license only when an applicant demonstrates a special need for self-defense, we conclude that the state's licensing regime violates the Constitution. And it goes on to say, we don't do that for anything else or any other right or anything, but you have to have a need. Someone tweeted, I've seen we've made the leap of accusing the Supreme Court justices as murderers, going back to Adam's tweet. Someone else, as a general, I don't even say that people who haven't ever mass shot are mass shooters. You should be ashamed of yourself for saying something like this. Did you actually read the whole opinion? Narrow in scope. Be an adult. Do your research. Hashtag Dems are children. The mayor of New York, Kathy Hochul, I'm sorry, called the decision reckless and reprehensible. And of course, reckless, reprehensible because they're not going to really look at the Constitution as a guideline, more of just an opinion, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how they look at it, but the Constitution is actually our guide. And somehow this feeling that we can reinterpret what is ridiculous, but that's unfortunately what's going on. The president also said, deeply disappointed by the decision. Disappointed that they followed the law? I would assume. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, Russ, real quick. The abortion, this abortion Roe v. Wade being overturned, does this mean that my federal dollars, I won't have to pay for these innocent babies being murdered? Is that what that is? I mean,
I think that's a great question, but I don't know. But I think I know what it does do, and it takes away the federal law on abortions and gives it back to the states.
So federal taxes. That's what I'm talking about. So,
I don't know. That's a great question. I'll have to ask that, but you would think it would go hand in hand. You would think.
Just sit back real quick. Just sit back now and watch these wacko Democrats, along with the drive-by media, start a real insurrection. And I hope they're punished the way they're going after Trump with this whole J6 BS. I mean, remember what Chuck Schumer said. So they're gonna try to incite it now. I mean, these Democrats.
Yeah, that is such a banana republic move. So when we look like a kangaroo court, handpicked Trump haters to just say negative things about Trump and then say that proves insurrection. That's just crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So sit back and watch a real insurrection take place, and of course they'll get away with it. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know. Appreciate the call, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, have a good weekend, Russ.
Yeah. Yeah, that January 6th, of course, is just designed to hopefully keep, they're trying to keep Trump off the ticket. They want him indicted for anything and want as much bad press as possible, and then let your tax dollars do it. So, hand-picked kangaroo court by Nancy Pelosi to just talk about how terrible Trump is. It's amazing. CNN, ABC, MSNBC, CBS are joining the hype of Biden gas tax holiday. Which is kind of weird. I'm surprised they joined it so quickly. It wasn't that long ago Obama came up out against it, back during Obama administration. He just said, no, this is just a gimmick. It doesn't do anything. And in fact, I think he said something to the effect that it only gives a break to the wealthier people in the country that can afford gas in the first place, I guess. But now, because Joe Biden wants it, all these news organizations just flipped immediately. MSNBC, Joe, Morning Joe, who used to be a conservative, I guess, Joe Scarborough, he took the opportunity to criticize Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who called the idea silly. Well, so did Barack Obama. How soon they forget. They quickly pushed back the fact the idea received a lukewarm reaction among many Democrats, well, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Joe says he wants to cut tax on fuel prices when people are suffering. Why is that silly idea? Well, it's silly because it's 18 cents that actually goes in to fix the roads and prepare the roads so the cars can travel. It's going to take $10 billion out of that. He says and Brzezinski says you can't just criticize everything. Well, I think Joe and Brzezinski do. Scarborough said Biden wants to give Americans some money back at the pump and suggested McConnell believes it's silly to help working class Americans. He repeated that Biden was set on helping middle class Americans twice more before Brzezinski asked if Republicans had any solutions themselves, which I wish they'd asked me, but Brzezinski says, Joe Scarborough said, he said no, given some impersonation of Peaky Binder. But there's a long list, and I've got a whole article of left-wing news anchors that are just going crazy over how wonderful this Biden is because he wants to cut out the 18 cents a gallon tax, which effectively is going to do. I mean, if you get 10 gallons, that's $1.80 that you're going to save. Yeah, not a great savings. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says no policymaker has and this was just days earlier before Biden came out with this, no policymaker has a dial that you can just turn up or down, that you can just control things like oil prices and gas prices. Look, folks are impatient. Folks are looking for solutions. We get that. Okay, now, that was before Joe Biden says, I'm going to roll it back. We're going to take it down 3% after it's raised, 130%. Kamala Harris, this is about the selection of the SCOTUS Second Amendment thing. She said, and this is about the guns that SCOTUS, the Supreme Court has overturned the New York law. It says, we are specifically going to talk about an extension of their responsibility, which has to do with the responsibility to concern themselves with the priority of ensuring the health, safety, and well-being of the women in their state and the protection of the reproductive rights and freedoms. Of course, that has to go back to abortion. I guess this article covered both. The language, but she's, of course, supporting, but that whole sentence meant nothing to me. The language and the tone she used in her discussion of abortion contrast starkly with language tone she used in the decision. She even seemed to express frustration the Supreme Court affirmed the Second Amendment for people because of Buffalo, New York, Texas, and all that kind of stuff. Harris is a waste of time. Unfortunately, so do the Democrats think the same, quite as they've demonstrated. Philadelphia Inquirer editorial board, high gas prices aren't Joe Biden's fault. And that's wonderful that they say that, and that wasn't always the case. And, of course, Trump said he was going to bring it down, and he did. And I remember Obama when the prices hit low because of some fracking, when fracking was first started up, and it came down even though he was against it. And it got down to, he got on the stage, and I remember him talking in third person saying, gas prices are $2 a gallon. Thank you, Joe Biden. Even though he was against it, he took credit for it. Yeah, he was giving himself credit like the president did that. Philadelphia Inquirer, don't blame Biden for higher prices. Current pump prices are due largely to the basic economics of supply and demand. Much of the global economy shut down during the pandemic, and oil prices plummeted as demand and evaporated virtually overnight. And with demand outstripping supply, prices have skyrocketed, as it's flipped. Well, yes, it is a nationwide. But as soon as the United States gets involved in it and became energy independent, kind of stabilized the whole nation. I mean, the whole country, the whole world. It did stabilize it, just like it does for a lot of agricultural products because we're involved in it. I guess even the news will change their viewpoints based on whether it's a Democrat or a Republican in the White House. I guess that's just nature. We've grown used to it. That's the way it works. So we look at it, and all you can do is smile. We'll be back Monday, I guess, because it's already Friday. Have a great weekend. AM 560 KBLU.